Kampala, like a sea accommodating a variety of sea animals, impoverished and wealthy residents live side by side like distressed bumblebees. This is poem number 69, guys. Jump on page 69. We are rolling now. The poem is Kampala. First stanza, second stanza. Kampala, a city where the hustle is for real. In downtown Owino Kiembe, old taxi park, and the bustling activity in the thriving arcades and the malls. So if you know Kampala now, I'm giving you the full picture. You know, downtown Kampala and the sea. That is the Central Business District, CBD, isn't it? Yeah. So Kampala, a divided city where the wealthy congregate in the upscale Kololo, Mienga, and Nakasero areas, away from the downtown cacophony of human haze. You get that? Kampala, a city of 7 hills where different sects perch onto different hills. So if you're familiar with Kampala, it's called the city of 7 hills. So reason being that, you know, the demographics of each hill, I would say, entail custody of a particular. So if you go to Namirembe, Rubaga, Chibuli, Nakasero, all these are hills. Nakasero Hill, you know, in old Kampala, whatever. So let's bring the Muslim Supreme Council in the imposing Gaddafi Mosque on Old Kampala Hill, the Kibuli Muslim sect perching on Kibuli Hill, the Catholic Cathedral sitting atop Rubaga Hill, the Protestant Cathedral dominating Namirembe Hill. Kampala, where the wealthy are treated in the private Nakasero hospital, while the struggling underclass are referred to the rundown Kirudu and Kawempe hospitals. Kampala, a melting pot of different cultures, indigenous and imported, spiced with a colonial and Asian marinade. Kampala, where tradition is retained at the ancient king's burial grounds in the historic Kasuri tombs and the expansive King's Palace at Lubiri. Kampala, a city where slay queens and socialites flock upscale clubs, while ordinary patrons are content to patronize local kafundas, and yet with the eclectic mix is what makes it the heartbeat of the nation. The heartbeat of the nation. That's the last line in the last stanza. So if we have the conversation here, let's go back from where we want to begin. You see, because it's a random pick of a poem, you know, and if you have the book right now, this is the time to dig into it, and then we pretty much mince around the words. So like a sea, you know, a sea pretty much is a land to water mass. You know, you are on the land and you look into the sea. So if you go into the sea, either by any means of travel, you know, whatever, ship, steam, liner, boat, canoe, whatever. So, but it's like a sea, waves. So you're talking of a situation where things look unpredictable, but it's accommodating a variety of animals. You know, this is just a reference to pretty much the atmosphere that, you know, simmers around the city. You know, it's a beehive activity. So side by side, like distressed bumblebees. Exactly, that's what I mean. You know, so any city is a melting pot. I've been to New York, I've been to London, I've been to Paris, I've been to Boston. It's a melting pot. It's not about love, you know, I'm talking about here. It's a so there's business going about. If, you know, day-to-day activities, people, you know, the hustle, the bustle, and side by side, everything pretty much takes its own direction, you know. And it mesmerizes me sometimes if you sit back and look into what's happening. Say, example, you stand on a tall building and look down Kampala Road everything seems to be going in sync. There's this harmonious harmony that kind of resonates when you look into something, but underneath that there would be things resonating, you know what I mean, like bumblebees, you know, they look all together in a honeycomb, but then once you pretty much touch into the beehive, you know, everything's gonna be like in your face. They'll attack. They will, oh, is that anger? Is that hate? Is it what is that? So in downtown Owino Kiembe, Old Kampala Tax Park, and the bustling activity in the thriving arcades and malls. Okay, Kakatinze, if I take this one on my side, if I said it was Kampala, and we knew how Kampala used to run. You know, when we came of age, some of us, we really hustled on the streets. Like, you had connections that held the loose ends. You knew which thing was happening, what was going on, what was this and that, in terms of either business opportunities, money, you know. You know, that's what I mean, you know. So, but now, of late, you know, you have the thriving arcades and shopping malls. And then he goes down to explain that a divided city where the wealthy congregate in the upscale Kololo, Muyenga, and Nakasero areas, away from the downtown cacophony of a human haze. So, it's a mix of things. So if you're well-to-do, where do you position yourself? If you're doing well, where do you position yourself? If you're struggling, where do you position yourself? And where do you get the attention? You know what I mean? So, a city divided in two halves. Those who are familiar with Kampala would know Nakasero, would know Kololo, would know Muyenga. Muyenga is a residential area, suburb. We've talked about the city of hills, you know, that's obvious. And the healthy, what I find bizarre here is it doesn't pay attention to Mulago Hospital. Victor, come on, tell us. Does Mulago still exist? Or you just simply wanted it out of the picture? Because I know Mulago, it would be pretty much, let's get this on, a dumping ground, call it. So there's this reference. So because of the fact that it's the National Referral Hospital, does it get the other end of the stick? Do you know what I mean? That's an English saying. The other end of the stick. So if you're in the toilet, you want to run down and flush in it. So the other end of the stick is the one with the brush where you do like, you know what I mean? I'm not going to miss about this, you know. Kakati, is that the Mulago we are looking at that Victor doesn't want to put in the picture? Everybody knows Mulago Hospital. So, but he uses that as a diversion to take us on the other side. So, like, we are left hanging. So if I'm driving along Ginger Road, hey, Mabira Forest, hey, I know where I'm going, because these are all landmarks. So if tomorrow I'm saying, where's the forest? Where's the forest? Where is it gone? So where is the Mulago Hospital in this? Because it would feature here. So let's go back and I read it to you. Those who are with the book, you can quote me here. So we're looking at Nakasero Private Hospital. Definitely catering for the well-to-do, the haves. What about the have-nots? While the struggling underclass are referred to the rundown Kirudu and Kawempe hospitals. This would be in reference to the new hospitals that were built, quote-unquote, as part of an extension of, I think, the Mulago Referral Hospital. I'm not familiar with this cacophony. I don't know how this really went down. I'm not familiar with that, but I would see that as in reference to that side of the coin, the other side. So, and the underclass. So if you have a city, is this a city of haves or have-nots at the same time? So it's a juxtaposition of events, I mean, like scenarios. So there's the concept of tradition going on here, different melting cultures, indigenous and imported spice, spiced with colonial and Asian. So the history of Kampala would be pretty much determined by the fact that the colonial influence left its legacy, its mark. So back in time, you would say, has this been instilled into the way things are done? That with the end of the colonial era, has it ushered in a new era where still things look the same? So that's a conflict. The conversation continues. Conversation continues. So this is food for thought. I am very much familiar with Kampala. My first real hustle was in Kampala. You know, Nasa Road, in Kuruma, Echoes. I used to organize parties, you know, whatever, Pioneer Mall. I used to have an office. And all my ventures, went about. So, success in Kampala, is it challenged by the fact that you have to hustle? If you don't have to hustle, what do? Are you left out hanging to dry? That's it. Let me check my music, guys. Today is a Monday, the 14th of March. The conversation continues. And pretty much we are in the book now. Get the book right now if you're ready. I don't want to be quoted raw. So we have Kampala patched with tradition that is retained. He's talking about Kasumi tombs and the expansive King's Palace at Lubiri. So is it the fact that this is dominancy of the traditional heritage by a kingdom playing a conflicting position? So if you have a melting pot, so what's cooking? Then you have this overwhelming dominant influence retained in tradition. Does it challenge the status quo? How do you see that? Then when it comes to other social engagements, we're looking at Kampala as a city where slave queens and socialites flock the upscale clubs. That's mixing with the well-offs and the haves. While the ordinary patrons are content, they feel they know their place. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Is that keeping up with the Joneses? All right. What do you mean, Joneses? You have to live up to the appearances. So if I'm a socialite, what makes me a socialite? That's a question that lingers around. But the have-nots are content. They are satisfied with what they are. So if I have nothing, that means I have nothing to lose. It's not my problem. I have nothing to lose. The local kafundas. So these are like the bufundas. I would explain it like this. From my knowledge back in my days, or bufunda were these local joints. You went behind the alley, and you have these old ladies, batunda waraji, oba mini, oba fanta. It's a local potent. You drink to forget yourself. You drink to get drunk and be happy. So you're looking for happiness in a local joint. Girase tangara, tunya tukeso budde, things like that. But then if you look at affluence now, when you go to the patronizing of these upscale clubs and everything, so you're looking for, if you are in Kampala today, you have to find your place. So if I don't find my place today in Kampala, where do I belong? If I'm in the middle, am I in the middle? Yes, hello, buddy.
How are you?
You're a good man. Yeah, thank you. You're right. Yeah. So, in the middle, all, you know where. So, as the poem is, it kind of connects with other poems that are coming after or previously that we shall go into. You know, if I give you a scoop, if you hear a poem like this one, Farewell to Justice, End in Sight, Dust, Days of Pandagari 1994, if you are a child of the 70s, this is a poem we shall dig into probably tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? I like you to get the vibe. Victor sat down and constructed a narrative of events. He's painted a picture of what really would be a situation similar to what I would call an ethnographic study. You know, I told you about this, that in my studies I was familiar with a lot of, you know, you have a situation, you break it down and you analyze it, and then you kind of have pointers about it. So Kampala, let's get this clear, is a melting pot, the capital city of Uganda, the melting pot. Kampala, a beautiful city. 7 Hills, Kampala, a city of two dimensions, pretty much. The conversation continues. I think we're on the same page now, like 69 page. Kampala, you got me. Kegus. The conversation is about the book. So it's gonna be like a spin-off of what really much works for your understanding. I hate this impression of patronizing knowledge. Nti olina kulaba kintu bwoti oba nti ekintu yonna kitegeera bwoti. No, think outside the box. Kiringa ng'okuba n'omukazi. You know what I mean? You've been in love before, innit? If the woman loves you, you don't have to do the hard work. She will make things so easy for you, man. So easy. The obvious things will be there, and if you see them, it's a done deal. So, but if she's don't go breaking my heart, blah blah blah, especially if you have baggage and all that, so there's a bit of hard work to do, you know what I mean? The same way otherwise, you know. So what makes a man fall in love? Or what makes a woman fall in love? What tickles your fancy? This is the conversation, you know what I mean? So you're in Kampala, what would you fancy? What would you like to see when you're in Kampala? So, and this will go right to the very top or to the very bottom, you know, talking about leadership, talking about governance. So there's a lot. So all that is coming in the conversation. Kegus style. The one-man show with the monologue. So I love you guys, you know. I'm just reading. I would have read the book in my solemn quietness, you know, but I've read the book and I minced about it. I chewed over it, and I was talking with Victor about it. He said, Victor, man, it's a smash. You done it. You know, from betrayal of hope to this, you're pretty much, you know, you're doing justice to your knowledge or to information. So tomorrow we have something else, but what I want is the engagement of seeing somebody talking about it and you know, sharing his views. You know, my views are uncensored, unadulterated. There's nothing like, oh, say this or don't say that or say this. Kegus doesn't roll like that. No. I don't touch something like that. If it is me, the real. I can't be a pretender. So that's the book, and that's how I read it, and that's how I understand it. That's it. And I have got the authority. So have a good one, and we shall keep going. I don't want to rant. It's not ranting, it's just me. Or maybe I'm coming from the territory of love, where I'm so lost in my love stories that this is a bit streamlined for me. When I'm doing the love conversations, it's a rant. Tomorrow